Thanks for joining us at Ryerson TV. I'm Angelyn Francis, and I'm joined today by the RSU's VP Operations, Obaid Ullah. And he's here to talk with us about the changes that have taken place with the RSU's health and dental opt-out plan. So, Obaid, thanks for joining us.
No problem.
Can you walk me through what the process looks like now and what's changed?
Sure. So, process is really simple now. Have you tried opting out yet?
No, I actually personally still use the plan, but for
Oh,
students
okay.
who do opt out?
Well, I opted out yesterday, and I did it under a minute. I just went to mystudentplan.ca, and it shows up the RSU special link, and you fill out the form and drop out.
So what's the difference between this year and last year and the previous years about how students will go about getting their refund?
Just the refund or the whole plan?
The refund.
So the refund is the same. This year the plan's cheaper, so we're saving $15 a student. Last year was $310, and this year we've been able to negotiate a cheaper rate with Green Shield, and we're at $295 now. And the refund is just that we've been able to set up direct deposit, so the money's going to go straight to your Rams account.
Okay, so now it'll be going to the Rams account?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So last year the process was to go in person and pick up a check, correct?
They tried setting up a direct deposit.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a direct deposit and pick up the check. The direct deposit, the previous broker, they had some issues and they couldn't fulfill the promise, so we had to give manual checks out.
Okay. Is there any reason why you didn't try to rework anything with the direct deposit for banking?
Well, we thought it's much simpler, and when we looked into it, we did the research, it's much simpler to give it back to the student credit, because that's initially how the money comes into the student fees, and that's how we collect the fees. So it's much easier to just reverse some payments and have the money go back.
Okay,
it saves time, and it's more efficient and cheaper.
Great. So from your perspective, what's the reaction been like to students now that they're going to be receiving their $295 refund? Now that they're going to receive it on their accounts, what's the reaction been like from students?
Well, so far, Dawn, our staff person, who's the health and dental administrator, she hasn't received any complaints. It's been very minimal, one or two maybe, but when I talked with her yesterday, she said she hasn't received any complaints. Same time last year, she was working on the weekends, she was working overtime, she was under a lot of stress because there was all these issues and responding to all these individual emails one by one. Mm-hmm. So I think it's an improved process.
So from talking to students, I ran into a few who are concerned that since it's going to be sent to their student fees account, if they have a balance owing on it, they may not be able to get the money back in cash like they normally would. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I do know that when we negotiated with the university, we asked them to be able to set up that negative credit. So far we haven't received any complaints about this because the money hasn't been sent back. It could be something expected if it does happen. If it does, I think it needs to be looked at the university. But the other way looking at it, at the end of the day, you are getting your money back. When students apply for OSAP, it's not getting your health and dental fee back will not affect your OSAP. So even though there's a little bit of a negative, like you might not go into a negative immediately, you eventually will go into a negative when your OSAP kicks in. But again, we've negotiated with the university and they said that they would set up the refund. So it should click in there. I don't know, I understand students' concerns, but they should get their money back.
So overall, how do you feel about the new process?
I think it's a greater process. I think we've made some good changes. I think students are happy so far. From what I've seen from the positive feedback, we have a survey happening right now just to get students' responses and see what they're thinking about the plan. And so far, responses have been in favor.
Okay, so perfect. So to wrap things up, can you tell us how students can opt out and when the last day to do it is?
Sure. The last day to opt out is this Friday, October 2nd, and you just go to the RSU website and go into the health and dental plan area, and you'll be able to opt out right there.
Thanks so much for joining us, Obaid. For Ryerson TV, I'm Angelyn Francis.